Super Bowl 60 this weekend, and you have tapped into your Sharp Squares podcast with Greg Roth, the ambassador, David Eby. This is yours truly, Eric Glazer. Last episode of the season. We went 2-0 2 weeks ago during championship week. Doesn't solve all of our problems. It's been a dismal playoffs for us, but it certainly helped. And we have a really well done show for you, to be honest. So, first
if you do say so.
If I do say so myself. So I think you're going to get a lot of great content here. We've got an interesting, not in my regular place. I happen to be in very chilly Florida. Greg Roth is doing his first ever Super Bowl episode from his new place in Southern Florida. And Eby's in his office today, looking a little bit different, but dapper nonetheless. So I don't know what that means, but this is a big week for Greg and me in our pool because the stakes are at its highest on this one game, and we have a chance to possibly finish slightly in the black with a victory if things fall right for us on Sunday. So let's get to it. Here's how things are going to go. Greg's going to give you the pick as he always does. And then we're going to get into some groups together trends that I think you'll enjoy. And then we'll break down the games. We'll dismiss you guys, but you're going to want to stick around for this because we break down the games. And what's really good in the way that we did it, hats off to PMAC and the guys, is we give you prop handicaps on depending on who you think is going to win the game. And so you get a lot of good insights there that you could probably still act on some of these as we approach game time here on Friday afternoon as we're recording late Friday afternoon. All right, so that's the table of contents for today. Get ready to go. And to start us off, as he does every week, in a segment we usually call Gold, Silver, Bronze. Today I'm just going to call it the segment of Roth. Introducing everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. It's great to be here with you and the ambassador one last time this season. I'm going to miss you. When does the next season start? Is it Labor Day? After Labor Day, September. That's a long layoff. I'm going to miss you both. Hopefully you'll still call me on Zoom just so we can check in. We could talk about preseason games maybe and prepare for next year. What do we have for the Super Bowl? This playoff run, we've had a disproportionate amount compared to last season of medal games in the playoffs. Usually our sharps focus on totals, props, derivatives, don't take side picks, but we had quite a bit of medal action. Hasn't worked out so well until last weekend. For the Super Bowl, there are no medal games. No medal games. 8 of our sharps did take a side. 4 of them picked Seattle, and 4 of them took the Patriots. We do have a pick, though, even though it was 4-4, based on how we rate those handicappers and the lines they took the game. The pick is the Seattle Seahawks at -4.5 over the Patriots. Who picked the Seahawks? The Whale Capper, the Sharper Square podcast, Marco D'Angelo, David Bierman.
Who follows Greg Roth on Twitter.
He did. Hopefully he still does. He should. And as our other sharps should, as a lot of people should probably. Although I just really retweet stuff on the Hurricanes. Patriots were chosen by Cleve TA, Marty Herney, Kelly Stewart, and Ross Tucker. So we're going to be taking the Seahawks at -4.5 in our pool. Our pool does maybe change the line on Saturday if the line moves, which is probably not going to move that much, but we could change. I don't know what would be the catalyst for us to change, but it's possible we'll change. We'll use Twitter to let you know.
-5 would be a discussion for sure.
-5. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but I already put in the pick in the pool, the Seahawks -4.5. And so we'll go from there. And that's it. That's all I got.
Like I said, guys, at the beginning, lots of good content organized in a pretty efficient manner, if I do say so myself. So if you just want to bail right now, well, we want you to leave. We don't even want you here. You are now dismissed. For those of you sticking around, here we go. Trends. To start us off with some defense, first offense. From a government-funded office in a location that will remain private. The ambassador, David Eby.
No laws are being
Privates.
broken, though. I hope.
No laws are being broken. It's just a secret location deep inside my bunker. But anyway, let's get going with some defense versus offense trends, as Eric said. First, as everyone knows, defense wins Super Bowls. Teams allowing fewer points per game in the regular season are a whopping 9-1 straight up, and an almost as whopping 8-2 against the spread in the last 10 Super Bowls. So, of course, well, maybe not, of course. That does favor Seattle in this particular game. The source for this trend is VSiN AJ's Angles, the source for all three of my trends. Next, better offense has underperformed on the big stage. Teams scoring more points per game are just 8-14-1 against the spread in the last 23 Super Bowls. This favors Seattle because New England had the better offense during the regular season. And finally, third down offensive efficiency does not translate in the Super Bowl. Teams better on third down conversion rate are 8-16 against the spread, just 8-16 in the last 24 Super Bowls. So in this game, that again favors Seattle. And again, these are from VSiN Super Bowl offensive trends.
Good stuff. Next segment will be underdogs versus favorites in the market reality, or better known as the chalk Olette or Jeff Google favorite segment of trends. Favorites win more often, but Jeff, they don't cover. Super Bowl favorites are 35-23 straight up. That's 60%, but only 45.5% against the number since 1982. This favors us to play Seattle on the money line, but New England with the points. That's from VSiN and Super Bowl ATS trends. Also, dogs dominate the spread historically, 15-7 ATS since 2004, including 5 straight ATS wins since 2020. That's from the Action Network. And bigger spreads favor the underdog. When Super Bowl spreads are 3 or more, the dogs are 13-4 ATS since 2001. Don't like that, Greg. That's also from the Action Network.
Those underdog trends did concern me about the Seattle pick, as does this next trend segment, seeding pedigree of the best team myths. Higher seed has been a major ATS fade. The better playoff seed is just 2-17-2 against the spread in the last 28 Super Bowls. That favors New England. That trend courtesy of VSiN. Also, this trend from VSiN, the number 2 seed, which are the Patriots, outperform number 1 seeds, which are the Seahawks, head-to-head. In the last 5 Super Bowls featuring number 1 versus number 2 seeds, number 2 seeds are 5-1 straight up and 4-2 against the spread.
Our next category is momentum, market signals, and psychology.
By the way, you might have reduced our momentum there with that long pause between the segments. I just want to point that out.
Well, I was waiting for Greg to mention New England, but I guess he already did before that.
Wow, throwing Roth under the bus. I love it. We're really conflicted here, but we're uptight. It's a Super Bowl week. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's talk about momentum, market signals, and psychology. Failure to cover the conference championship carries over into the Super Bowl. Teams that fail to cover the spread in a conference championship game are 2-11-1 ATS in the Super Bowl since the merger. That favors Seattle.
I love that trend.
That's a strong trend. And again, favors Seattle, so that explains why you love it. Public favorites have historically held up, teams closing with 60% or more of spread tickets are 5-2 straight up and against the spread in Super Bowl history. That again favors Seattle. The source of that one is Action Network Bet Labs.
I'm sure that trend is the last 7 years. I know I didn't say that in our notes, but I'll do the math for everyone. All right, this is a trend that my friends in New England are sick of hearing about. Strength of schedule and structural edges. Tougher schedules matter, folks. Teams that played a significantly tougher regular season schedule are 8-3 straight up historically in the Super Bowl. That favors Seattle. That's compliments of the Action Network, which got it from Pro Football Reference SOS. Also, strength of schedule gaps are rare and meaningful. This matchup features the second largest strength of schedule gap in Super Bowl history, also favoring Seattle, also from the Action Network.
So in summary of those trends, the ATS profile favors New England, money line favors Seattle, defense and structure favors Seattle, historical script, favorite wins close, underdog covers.
Script, not strip. Yeah, interesting. All right, here we go. Go ahead. Let's get into the game.
It is Friday evening.
It is Friday evening. All right, we're going to do a quick little, here's why you should take the Seahawks, then the props aligned with the Seahawks, and then here's why you want to take the Patriots and the props aligned with taking the Pats. Take it away, David.
All right, the case for the Seattle Seahawks at -4.5. Seattle's defense is expected to control the structure of the game. The expectation is sustained four-man pressure without heavy blitzing, forcing New England into long yardage survival situations. Also, if early downs tilt towards Seattle, New England's offense becomes reactive rather than rhythmic. And that's a problem. Props analysis aligned with the Seattle win. Eric, back to you.
The defensive script reinforces pressure mobility. So check out these props like Seattle over 3.5 team sacks. That's from Andy at the deep dive. Drake May over 36.5 rushing yards. Chris Raybon. Drake May over 6.5 rushing attempts. Steve Fezzik. Hunter Henry over 39.5 receiving yards. Back to Stuckey. Actually, it's the first time we mentioned Stuckey, sorry. And over 3.5 receptions, compliments of Sean Green. And the idea behind all of these prop picks that I just noted is not that May fail statistically, it's that his production is inefficient, margin neutral, and they're going to have to play a little bit scramble catch up.
A Seattle lead compresses the clock and shrinks possessions, and thus consider efficiency fade props such as Kenneth Walker under 72.5 rush yards. That's from Chris Raybon. Seattle team rush under 107.5 yards, also from Raybon. Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing TDs. That's from Andy in the Deep Dive podcast. Kenneth Walker over 21.5 receiving yards. That's from Ryan Kramer. Seattle team total under 25.5. Assumes a controlled win rather than an offensive collapse. That's from Stuckey. Diversified rushing via Seahawks over 4.5 rushers with a carry also suggests creative tempo control. That's from Stuckey. The ideal Seahawks win, in summary, is methodical, fewer possessions, longer drives, and diminishing comeback windows, the game management opposed to offensive dominance.
Now, many Seattle-aligned bettors implicitly expect a defensive Super Bowl. Makes sense. The under cluster, under 45.5, you got Ross Tucker, Sharper Square, and Deep Dive. Other props to consider: Patriots punts over, with a lot of stalled drives, and the first half under markets. Early compression.
Yeah, that's basically saying we're going to have a higher scoring second half. All right, here we go. Here's the case for the Patriots plus 4.5. Patriots bettors are wagering on variance and margin compression. So the Pats repeatedly survive tight games through turnovers, special teams, and late execution. Patriots and the points is a bet that the margin remains elastic, even if Seattle controls stretches of this game.
Second half adjustment market strongly favor New England. Patriots second half team total overs and second half scoring props imply comeback pressure. Comeback script anchored in second half points over first half points from RJ Bell, paired with Seattle -3 first half, more points second half for New England. Marco D'Angelo agrees. The assumption is Seattle establishes early structure, then New England adapts. Patriots bettors trust mid-game recalibration to tighten margins. Cover pass for New England do not require early success. They require late stability.
Can I also, because this was a really complicated one, that first prop, if you're going to take it, and I think it makes a lot of sense, you're playing that the Patriots score more second half points than first half points, and you're also playing Seattle -3 in the first half.
With New England scoring more points in the second half. That pair.
That pair.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to parlay it, but if you put both bets, makes sense.
You cover all your bases. You root for Seattle in the first half and you root for the Patriots in the second half. Everybody's happy. Maybe.
All right. Drake May's mobility introduces disruption that can neutralize pressure, or put another way, May takeover scenarios appear in the following Drake May player props. Drake May over 30.5 pass attempts. That's from Deep Dive. Drake May over 36.5 rushing yards. That's from Chris Raybon. Over 6.5 rushing attempts. That's from Fezzik. And upside tail captured by Drake May MVP plus 240. That's from Sleepy J. Note, if May consistently converts broken plays, Seattle's structural edge narrows. The Patriots bettors are betting that mobility injects unpredictability into Seattle's defense.
So the extended preparation could increase volatility, which favors the underdog here. So trick plays and gadget pass props. Over 2.5 players with a pass attempt is the play that Marty Perney at the GM Shuffle thinks we should be playing. He assumes expanded playbooks after 2 weeks of preparation. This is basically saying variance benefits teams catching points, and the Patriots welcome chaos and unscripted sequences, and that's where margins shrink and underdogs survive.
So in summary, to frame both cases, Seattle bettors believe defense suppresses volatility, early control leads to clock compression, and that structure will compound over 4 quarters. Patriot bettors believe chaos and adjustments compress the margin. Second half volatility tightens the game. Mobility from May and unpredictability erode Seattle's control.
There you have it. Special shout out to Patrick McQuillan, who's been running a lot of the back end production. He's had wingman along the way with Eric Schultz and Scott Vick and Koof and the dealer. And so just the entire team, thanks so much. David and Greg, thank you for all the hard work and your commitment to Friday early evening, giving up happy hour basically for the show.
Well, it is happy hour. And Eric, thanks to you. None of this would happen without you. And you're our fearless leader. Thank you so much for all that you put into it in time. Irreplaceable.
You're on. Let's cover today, tomorrow, Sunday. All right, guys, just a reminder, all this great information that you may use, we've aggregated from a great team, but none of us are sharp. And this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.